Texas's High Court has issued a big ruling on THC. This is Monday, May 4th, 2026.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State. The Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Well, thanks for kicking off your week with the Texas Minute. It was 250 years ago today, on May 4th, 1776, that the colony of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations became the first to officially renounce allegiance to King George III. Let's jump into today's news. On Friday, the Supreme Court of Texas issued a ruling that upholds the state's classification of hemp-derived Delta-8 THC as a Schedule I controlled substance. Hemp businesses and producers had claimed the scheduling undermined the intent of the legislature, but the court has now disagreed. Back in 2019, the Texas legislature passed the Texas Farm Bill, which established the state's legal definition of hemp. Delta-8 THC, which is not mentioned in state law, is a naturally occurring psychoactive compound produced by the cannabis plant in small quantities. It is reportedly unable to produce any real or measurable psychoactive effect if consumed in its natural form, but can after being highly processed. Businesses that sell these processed products claim the legislature opened the market for them with that 2019 law. The authors of the legislation, though, have disagreed with their assertions, so in 2021, the state moved to classify hemp-derived Delta-8 THC as a controlled substance. A lawsuit brought by the industry paused that classification. Supreme Court justices, though, found that the lower court had exceeded its authority and now allows the classification to take effect. David Newell is a sitting judge on Texas' highest criminal court. He reported using campaign funds to make a $4,000 political contribution to another judicial candidate, despite a state law capping such contributions at $100. Newell is not seeking re-election to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. He made the donation to Allison Fox, running for a different seat on the TCCA. Newell also made donations of $1,000 each to the judicial campaigns of Joanne Pierce-Linzer, Paul Still, and Mark Hanna. The Texas Election Code prohibits judicial candidates and office holders from using political contributions to make political contributions exceeding $100 in a calendar year to another candidate. Laws for me, but not for thee. Not a good look for the judiciary. Houston City Controller Chris Hollins announced last week that his office is reviewing complaints about Mayor John Whitmire's tax-funded podcast. The podcast was launched on March 2nd and is hosted by a former Houston television news anchor who now runs a content creation company. Since its launch, 3 episodes have aired, running between 17 and 22 minutes. The podcast has averaged fewer than 160 views per episode. According to documents obtained through a public records request, the podcast producer was not required to submit a competitive bid because the expense fell under $100,000. The purchase order describes the work as, quote, for advertising services. It's unclear how many episodes or even what time frame the $60,000 covers. The mayor's office is defending the podcast as a routine communications tool. The complaints against the Democrat mayor were filed by the Houston Progressive Caucus, a left-leaning grassroots political organization. Isn't it fun when the lefties fight? The Texas Minute will be right back.
Hey folks, Chris Salcedo here. I've got something special for you, the Salcedo Storm podcast. As your friendly, liberty-loving Latino, I bring you a mix of engaging discussions to help us fight for our state and our conservative values. It's the perfect way to stay informed and engaged in what's happening around you. So, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on the storm of information and entertainment coming your way. The Salcedo Storm podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
The draft version of Texas' 2027 state water plan forecasts that taxpayers will need to spend an estimated $174 billion over the next 50 years in order to keep taps flowing during future droughts. That amount is more than double the cost projected just 4 years ago, even though the Texas Water Development Board says the types of projects being recommended have remained largely the same. The draft plan lays out strategies to meet water demand through 2080 under a worst-case drought of record scenario. It projects that if recommended projects are not built, quote, approximately 1 out of 4 Texans in 2080 would have less than half the municipal water supplies required in their worst-case scenario. To account for the enormous cost increase since 2022, the Water Board cites inflation, extended planning horizon, and lingering supply chain problems from the COVID era. Much of the spending would occur at the local level and be financed through a mix of bonds, utility revenues, state financial assistance programs, and, in some cases, federal funds. The state water plan serves as a blueprint for determining which local projects are eligible for certain types of financial assistance. You can keep up with the latest news impacting the Lone Star State by visiting TexasScorecard.com. This edition of the Texas Minute was based on the original reporting of Travis Morgan, Brandon Waltons, Michael Wilson, and Hunter Burney. Our producer is Nick Shepard. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Now, go make it a great Monday.